first time ever.
Warning acts of terror.
We are ready to engage with a two-state solution.
Some of his most senior cabinet members.
Advise us of a new economic age.
Let's take a short break from talking about wars and trade tensions and travel back in time to explore some quirky ideas that turned into cultural giants. They may sound odd at first, but each of them ultimately shaped how the world views their country. Now let's start with China. Imagine you are a struggling illustrator in Hong Kong with no experience in toys. You dream up a goofy plush monster with big teeth and goofy eyes and decide to sell it in blind boxes. Buyers don't know what toy they're getting until they open it. Sounds too niche? Now that's exactly how Labubu started. Today, Labubu is a cultural icon. It turned Chinese toy company Pop Market into a 43 billion powerhouse. Fans queue overnight, celebrities show them off, and the toys are even showing up in the places like France, Louvre Museum, and Singapore's political campaigns. US sales have jumped 900% with profit margins over 70%. What's the tipping point? A K-pop star usually and casually carrying a Labubu keychain, which brings us to South Korea. Now imagine you are not so famous rapper in Korea. Your music is in a language most of the world doesn't speak. And your next song is a satire about a neighborhood almost no one has heard of. Now the music video is full of odd scenes, parking lots, saunas and elevator dance moves. Sounds like a flop? That was Psy's Gangnam Style. Within days, it went viral. Today, it has over 5.6 billion views. It made headlines at the White House, 10 Downing Street, and even got a UN endorsement. It didn't just change pop culture, it pushed Korea's services exports into surplus and helped launch a global fascination with Korean culture. New Zealand. Next, imagine you are a Kiwi filmmaker who just lost money on your last film, but now you are pitching a fantasy trilogy based on a complicated book many thought could never be filmed. You asked for $500 million. Too risky? That was The Lord of the Rings. It ended up making 4.5 billion at the box office and doubled tourism to New Zealand. It reshaped how the world saw the country, not just as a remote island, but as a destination for nature, creativity, and innovation. Finland. Now picture this. You are an unknown artist, part of a minority group in Finland, drawing strange hippo-like characters during World War II. Your story mixes cozy family life with deep themes like loneliness and freedom. Too weird to sell? That was Moomins. Now they generated over 1 billion a year across 60 plus languages. There are Moomin themed products, parks, even global fandoms, helping shape Finland's cultural identity on the world stage. Now what's the bigger picture? Each of these stories started with a strange idea, but they all became massive cultural exports we didn't even talk about. Australia's Bluey, now the most streamed kids show. Sweden Max Martin, the music producer with the most number one hits. Belgium Tintin, the most translated comic in history. Japan's Super Mario, a global gaming icon. And then there's the cultural powerhouse of the United States, from Michael Jordan to Jennifer Lopez, whose pop icons shape global trends, identity, and soft power. So why does it matter? Because these cultural hits help countries tell their story to the world without using force or diplomacy. They shape how governments perceive other nations, influence investor confidence in foreign markets, change how everyday people think about a country. People start saying, oh, Korea is more than just tech, or New Zealand. That's where they filmed Lord of the Rings, or even Finland. That's where the movements are from. In short, culture is geopolitics without weapons. It's influence, identity, and soft power, all in one. I hope you find this video informative. That's all from my side, and I'll see you in the next video. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.